The Project Japan. In December of 2021, an interesting facility opened. It's a compact, mixed-use complex centered on a hotel called Byaku Narai, which was designed to blend into the townscape. Passing through the courtyard from the front entrance are the hotel, restaurant, spa, and other facilities. All of the guest rooms have individual entrances and traditional Japanese layouts, with decorative woodwork, an alcove, a show-in space, and a black lacquer color scheme for the interior. Each room has a distinct character and an atmosphere that most people rarely get a chance to experience in their daily life. This facility was originally a sake brewery 200 years ago and was renovated and reborn as part of a project to restore traditional Japanese houses. Yohei Takahama of Takenaka Corporation was involved in spearheading this project.
When we first came here, we were impressed with the scenery of this former post town and felt it needed to be preserved.
The restaurant is a renovated room where sake was originally brewed and serves dishes made with local ingredients. The spa was once used as a storehouse and utilizes the original big open space. The facility is located in Naraijuku in Shiojiri City, Nagano Prefecture. This former post town sits almost in the center of Nakasendo, one of 5 main roads built in the Edo period centuries ago, where homes along a 1-kilometer stretch are decorated with traditional lanterns and latticework. We spoke with a 6th-generation proprietor of a lodging facility here.
We're in a valley with beautiful mountain views. I'm happy that local residents can live here, and it can coexist as a tourist destination.
Narai has developed a unique history and culture, and in 1989 it was designated a National Preservation District for Traditional Architecture. How does Shiojiri City see the Narai region? We spoke with Deputy Mayor Kenichiro Yonekubo.
The activities of regional residents have helped protect the town, and tourism elements and resources for tourists have become firmly rooted in the community. We as Shiojiri City are very impressed by the efforts of the Narai region. But there are some issues we face. Those wooden structures have been around for generations and are very old, so they needed to be repaired. Also, the population is gradually aging, and there's the problem of vacant or abandoned properties, which we need to properly address.
To solve these social challenges, Shiojiri City signed a partnership agreement with general contractor Takenaka Corporation.
We partnered with Shiojiri City, based on the idea of Takenaka's forest grand cycle of using wood for living spaces and for energy, of revitalizing forestry towns. Naraijuku was a challenge we took on, and by reviving vacant homes, we can bring new life to the region. Our aim in launching this initiative was to utilize these traditional homes and re-energize the entire community. The most important concept of the hotel is that as a lodging facility in Naraijuku, we wanted to provide guests with different experiences and numerous stories unique to the region. That was the most important factor we took into consideration. For example, you can directly hold and feel the kiso lacquerware in the rooms, and at the restaurant, we can show local food culture and the background through our dishes. We're also making efforts to promote the wonderful features and attractions of Naraijuku.
Koto Ward, Tokyo, the head office of Takenaka Corporation. We spoke with Makoto Nakai of the Urban Creation Strategy Division about the company's vision.
We want to create towns with the proper infrastructure to support the lives of residents and industry, distinctive towns where local culture and natural resources are treasured. Spiritually rich towns supporting diverse lifestyles, work styles, and learning. Also, towns that innovate and take on challenges so that people can have hope for the future. That's the kind of town creation our company is aiming for. As part of our efforts, we've come up with the term machi innovation, or town innovation. This is something we're not doing just as a company, but together with the many stakeholders of towns to revive them and connect people within them.
Takenaka has also signed partnership agreements with other communities to create towns that address regional issues. In Ogawa Town, Saitama Prefecture, they have renovated a 100-year-old stone-built warehouse to function as a new center for community revitalization, offering a space for community residents and visitors to use. In Unnan City, Shimane Prefecture, a project is underway to monitor and safeguard the increasingly elderly population. The partnership agreement signed with Shiojiri City this time isn't limited to the restoration of old houses.
Our core business is construction, and currently there are moves in cities to use wood for buildings. As part of that, Shiojiri City is contributing a significant amount of lumber, so we want to give back and develop the local biomass and energy businesses.
The basis for this concept is Takenaka's Forest Grand Cycle. By utilizing wood, they aim to prevent forest deterioration and the decline of the forestry industry, and also create a sustainable cycle between forest resources and the local economy. How exactly is this restoration of traditional houses contributing to the Forest Grand Cycle? One result is this biomass boiler set up behind the facility.
There's a boiler inside this container. Wood chips are transported from the side and put in. The Kiso Forestry Cooperative processes the wood into chips, which are brought here and burned to boil water. We also have a remote monitoring device so that when the hot water is depleted, the wood chips are automatically inserted. We use about 7 tons of chips every week. It generates about 120 kilowatts of heat, which is enough to supply the facility's restaurant and spa.
Why is it necessary to use the wood that's considered the town's resource? We spoke with Hayato Tanaka, the director of the local Public Forestry Corporation.
Forests cover about 75% of Shiojiri City. As you can see, there are many mountains with planted trees. They can only be used as timber after about 40 years, and the forests have developed much faster than can be used. The price of lumber remains low, so even if the trees are felled and sold, unfortunately, there's no profit to be made. It could even be loss-making.
Shiojiri City's Public Forestry Corporation says it manages local forests and promotes exchanges within the industry, while supplying trees brought in by local forest owners to power plants.
In the case of forests, it's very important to continue the cycle of planting and cultivating trees, and planting them again. So in terms of utilizing forestry resources, by installing a biomass boiler, wood that wasn't being used until now can be used as chips, and we can also raise awareness about forests and encourage regional revitalization. It would make us very happy if this leads to creating a healthy economic cycle.
The aim of the facility centered on the Byaku Narai Hotel was to address and solve local issues.
Although this area is an old post town and tourist site, it's also a place where people live and work, and at night they close their businesses and go home. At the same time, it's because of that foundation that the townscape of Naraijuku has been preserved. By telling our customers of that background, we believe the attractions of this area will grow, and they'll better understand the value of this town. Recently, many people work remotely, even on weekdays. So we want them to know about how wonderful outlying regions can be, and that can produce an economic cycle with money flowing across cities and the countryside. We believe that's very important. Our big hope is that our town building initiatives can be a catalyst for that. It's not just about restoring buildings and the phenomenon of tourists coming to an area. We want this to be a catalyst for local residents to identify issues and work together to find solutions. It would make us very happy if this leads to that kind of movement.
The company says the aim of the new tourist facility and biomass plant is to offer solutions to issues faced by the local community. Regional stakeholders and private companies are joining hands to preserve the 400-year-old townscape of Naraijuku while building a sustainable society. The hope is that this mixed-use facility in an old post town will inject new energy into the economic cycle of this region.